Man, what a freaking mess. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is, one, make sure... Cool. How's it going, everybody? Matthew Blaster here with a fun video putting together a custom gaming computer. So I'm gonna go through the parts, talk about some of the specs, and put it all together. Let's start with the motherboard. Motherboard is the center of all of this. So here it is. So I actually haven't taken it out of the bag yet, but we'll do that. You know, why did I do this? Okay. Oh, sorry. We're good. Okay. Right here. There we go. Here's our motherboard. Looks pretty good. We won't really know until we plug it in. Like, looks good. I got some other fun things in here that come with it. Toss that over there. All right, so now we get our little panel. This is the back panel, goes in the back of the case so that all these little dilly boppers will go over. That's backwards, like that. Yes, yeah, like that. All right, so that's what's sticking out. Okay, so we got that, cool. Here are our cables, SATA, however you want to say it, I don't care. Same thing. These are where plug in to the hard drives. So a lot of motherboards have some interesting things to look out for, like the way to place them within the case. So we will probably take a little peeky at that, make sure we're not missing anything. This is the drivers. Obviously this is an Intel motherboard because I bought an Intel CPU. If you're buying AMD, you need to buy an AMD motherboard. Don't make that mistake. So next is the beautiful i5 8400 8th gen Coffee Lake CPU. Looks like we go down into it. All right, so now, so we have to work with. So if you get the K series, meaning the unlocked edition of these CPUs, you will not get a heatsink. You will have to buy your own heatsink because the stock heatsink is not good enough. Anyway, but that's it. That's all that's in the box. This is the heatsink. It already has a thermal paste. Thermal paste is so important. Do not forget thermal paste. But with these, they come with it. You buy aftermarket heatsinks, it's not gonna have that on it usually. And then there's the processor, right? That's it. That's the puppy. That's the money. That's the money right there. We get our little manual, because there's so much to learn, and we got our beautiful, do not forget the sticker. The GPU. So this graphics card, I was super thrilled to get. It's a GTX 1070, the overclocked edition. This is it. This is the two fan that we have here. See that? Toss that aside. That's our graphics card. It looks beautiful. I've already tested these in my rig, and they run great. If you're gonna do gaming, I totally recommend to get you know, 1060 or higher. I have a VR, I have a Vive, so I have at least a 1070, and that's what I recommend for a lot of people. If you're building more budget, 1060 definitely the way to go. So this will be a great card in the build. Next part we're gonna unbox is the Rosewill. Sorry I took the plastic wrap off this one too, just to make sure that everything was actually there. There have been a lot of things going on with returns and people doing a really good job of putting fake stuff in, so I just wanted to make sure that was good. These are little instructions. And then here is the power supply. So this one's a modular, which is awesome. Modular ones are definitely so much nicer. People who are OCD and like to keep their cords organized, modulars are what you want to look for, which is another reason why I was so excited to get this one at such a good deal. 40 bucks. It's usually, I think, $80 to $100. And then here's all the different cords that you plug in. So based on what you are trying to do, you know, how many hard drives you got, and graphics cards, and all that good stuff is all right here. Here's the memory. Ballistic Sport again. Not a whole lot to see. And then they look a slick gray, nothing special. They don't do any lighting or anything cool like that. I don't really care for a lot of that stuff, to be honest, as long as it performs good. Then we have the Intel hard drive. This was one that I got for $55, which is an amazing deal. Here's our SSD. Look at a nice sealed bag. We'll open that up when we need it. We're ready to put it in. But that's it right there. Small little sucker. SSDs are the future. So here we go. So here's the case. Probably should have gotten some screwdrivers, but I think I can get it off without them. You know, they're showing how to do the fan. I have the extra fan. I'm gonna put the fan in. Stuff like that, I think that's what I was talking about there. I just realized after looking at it more, you look at the installation, here's a great diagram of the airflow. So airflow is gonna come in from the front of the case and then go out from the top and out from the back. So that's kind of the direction you're gonna see the airflow going. Because if you have air from here blowing out, air from here blowing out, you're gonna have a really weird just circle of just hot air that's gonna constantly be building up. But if you have everything in a flow, it'll be golden. But I have this extra fan here I'm gonna be putting in. If you look at every fan, I haven't checked actually yet, but usually somewhere on it or on the side, it'll actually have an arrow. And of course this one doesn't have one. By the way, to get rid of and pull most of these cases off the front, sometimes they're screwed in, a lot of them are, sometimes they're flaps. There's so many different cases out there. But really, usually it starts from the bottom and it's just a pretty tough pull. So I had to pull it pretty hard, but I got it. Nothing broken, but it kind of just popped off like that. So I'm just gonna, yeah, it's fine. All right, fan is on. Ta-da! So now air should come in from the front and then out through the back. Usually most of these panels you have to pull it up and then it'll come out. So that looks like the case for this one. See, just a little hinge and boom. So now we're looking at the back of the case now. This usually goes on the inside of the case. So you need to put it in first, and then once you put it in, you put the motherboard and all the ports go facing outside. All right, so now I clipped it in. You see right here, got a nice little thing clipped in. Now this bottom part wasn't like popping out, so I had to shove it a little bit with the screwdriver and went pop. So those clicks are very important to listen for. So you see these pins right here are really important. The motherboard's always going to be setting on something like this that's just a little bit off of the actual metal of the case. You never want to have the motherboard actually setting on the metal of the case. That's how you usually short out a motherboard. And this one actually already had them pre-installed. I've been seeing that more and more lately. I have done another build recently, and I've been seeing them more and more on cases, so which is cool. You're either gonna see mostly ATX or micro ATX motherboards for the most part. As I was trying to screw everything in, I realized that they do give you 3 extra copper pegs right here, or bronze or I don't know. Tell me what they are in the comments below. So this is for these ones right here. There's 1, 2, 3, and then there's 3 other ones at the front. Those 6 are, that's for a micro ATX motherboard. So we have a regular sized ATX motherboard, so I needed to actually screw these ones in as well. so I screwed it all in, so there's gonna be 9 screws total that I had. All right, I'll give you a little peeky peek. What we got, there it is, that's it. Okay, next we're gonna put the CPU in. All right, so next I guess we'll throw in the CPU. So I'm not gonna lie, putting in CPUs literally scares the crap out of me because you can't have any static. You need super clean hands. I just washed my hands. I'm super OCD about it. You need to constantly be touching metal. Don't move your feet too much depending on how you're sitting or where you're sitting. There's even anti-static things that people get. I don't worry about any of that. I've never had a problem. All right, so what you do first, you got this little latch right here. And this latch is gonna come up and then it's gonna go back. So that's what holds on top of the CPU, and this whole thing, hopefully you can see it, this whole thing lifts up like that, okay? So what we're gonna do, first thing is, I believe we can remove this first. Yeah, there we go. So that's it. It's just protecting it. You see all the pins are exposed. I'm gonna do this kind of quickly. Carefully lift that up. Usually there is some sort of indicator of the corner that the CPU should set, and I'm not seeing it for some reason. Oh, they put on the plastic. Why do they do that? All right, so see the plastic right there? There's our arrow. That's how it was set in there. So we look on the CPU, it's a little arrow right there. That is our indicator. So we're literally gonna just take the chip, and it's shaking right now. We drop it in like that, okay? Freaking, I hate this part. All right, make sure the pins are good. It should be set on there nice and steady. Here's the fun part. Make sure everything looks good. I usually like double, triple, quadruple check. I'm like making sure the pins look good, making sure it hits that notch. There's a notch right there. There's obviously the arrow. Double check the piece of stupid plastic that has the arrow. I swear the motherboards usually have it on the motherboard themselves, but maybe not. And then we'll drop that back under, make sure it goes under the screw right there, and then literally just push it down. Oh. Okay, make sure the latch is good, and there you go. We installed the CPU. Hopefully it's okay. I'm sure it's fine. Now let's get the heatsink on. So as you can see, this heatsink it's pretty small, you know, but that's okay. It's gonna do a great job. If you don't like the heatsink, you can go buy new ones for like 30 bucks that do an awesome job, and they're easy to replace. Just don't forget the thermal paste, which is, it's already on here nice and clean. We used the other thermal paste, it's literally like using toothpaste. You'll see there's 4 pins that are here, 4 holes, I guess I should say, that these click into. There we go. Let's line it up with those dudes. All right, it's lined up, so it's right on top of the CPU. So we should just be able to just do a little click. Usually I go diagonally. All right. Yep, we're good. Yep. Yep, all right. I usually do an extra snug just to make sure they didn't unclip. So once we click it in, that's it. We're good. The CPU fan, so if you look on the motherboard, what's nice is there's a lot of stuff that's really labeled. The hardest part is the pins that are at the bottom of the motherboard will do. But you'll see right here, it says CPU fan, and we got 3 pins right here. Even shows you the angle it should be, so it should be this way going down. And then we just gotta plug it into those 4 pins. Now, I'm gonna be slightly upset because I think I'm gonna have to do this. And we're good. So that's it. Really from here is kind of just some easier stuff. The hardest thing is probably getting the power supply and all the case components plugged into the motherboard. So I'm gonna put the power supply in now. This power supply is interesting for this case because it's got like this enclosure already for it. I don't know what that's all about. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Should still be fine. And it's gonna be on the other side, so we gotta set it up. So on the back of the power supply, you got these There's a screw right there, screw right there, screw right there. Where's the other? Oh, right there. Oh, sorry. Right there, 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 and there. Yeah, because the way we're mounting it, it's gonna be like that. All right, so we got our power supply in. It fit pretty good. What's great about the modular design is I don't have a million cords popping out right now, but I think that's why they have this case, is to keep those cords organized. You can pull them out from here and then plug them in where you need them, which is kind of nice. Solid state drive. Now I just love how cheap these things have gotten now. 55 bucks. I mean, for an Intel one, geez, these used to be so expensive. 512. So now the way this is rigged out, which is really nice, is they have mounts that you can actually put the drives right onto. What's nice about solid state drives, you can really just do anything with it. I have literally one that's just setting on my case. I mean, there's no reason. I mean, really mounting is just making it easier for cords and stuff like that. The solid state drive, nice and stable in there. Again, I just screwed it in from the back, so there's screws that were included with the case that you use to screw this in. So now the next thing I'm gonna do is gonna be probably the most painful part, is I need to take all the cords from the case, and there's a bunch in the back, and the fans and all that stuff, and I have to plug it in to a lot over here with these pins right here. So these are things like basically the cool lights that are on the outside of the case, making sure all the fans are running. There's all the USB ports on the front of the case that are used, so this is like a USB 3, those sort of things. And with the more updated motherboard, usually have all those, so these usually all have a purpose. All right, so now that we've got these case cords plugged into the motherboard, just took a little bit of diving through the manual, making sure plugging them all in the right slots and stuff. Now we are going to take the power supply. We got the modular one, so we can plug in what we need, and then we're going to route it around, flip it over, and plug in where we need it. We have our graphics card, and we have our SATA cable, and a Molex. These are Molex right here. This is SATA power, whatever you want to call it. And then this is the monster right here. This is the thing that just, I mean, I hate this thing, but it's all the power, right? So we're gonna plug it in like this on the power supply and bring it around, and then plug it straight into the motherboard. So I'll show that in a minute. I also forgot that we need one for the CPU as well. We got all of our power that we need for the computer all the way through. Some of this is gonna be pretty tight, so I might actually have to move some things. Oh gosh, this is where it gets freaking annoying. All right, okay, so this is the fun part where you can figure out, okay, how am I gonna wire this sucker? So this is the Big Daddy. This is the motherboard connector. You see it as MB on everything. M as in me. So it should just be an easy click. Wait for the click. Yeah, it was a soft click, but I felt it more than I heard it. Might be a little bit more. Oh, there it goes. Where is it? This one. This one's a CPU. So CPU is all the way up here. So you'll see I'm all the way down here, so hopefully it's long enough. I'm gonna have to probably bring it back through where I brought the motherboard. So let's do that really quick. Got the power to the motherboard, got the power to the CPU. This is what I had to do. Unfortunately, that's the only way. The cord is not long enough. So we're gonna have to do some creative thinking when we get the graphics card in. I have the power into the solid state drive, which you can't really see. I'll show it up right there. So it plugs in, there's the power, and then there's the SATA right there. So this SATA cable right here, I haven't plugged it in yet, but they have different ones that are angled in different ways. I like to keep things organized, so I try and plug it in to whatever SATA port is number one, number two with the drives. So since this is gonna be our primary drive, I'm gonna plug this into SATA 1. But the SATA plugs are actually right here, and then there's it was like 8 more total, or 4 more. I believe you have 4 more. So we have enough room for 6 drives if we wanted. All right, this is the power. We still haven't plugged that in. This is the power for the graphics card, I guess I should say. And the next thing we're gonna do is put in the RAM. We're using 2 sticks. It's gonna go in the DIMM A2 and the DIMM B2. And it actually shows you first DIMM A2, which is this one. Hopefully you can see that. There's this one. And then DIMM B2, which is this one. All right, so these are the things you want to look for. So 3000 megahertz, that's what it was. And then you'll see we have like a 16, 18, 18, 38. There's a little notch that's a little bit offside. You can kind of tell how it's kind of off-centered. And you'll see the notches over here are off-center as well. So I can tell just by looking at it that this is the way to go. I can see the line, I can see the slot, and then you should just be able, I haven't tested this motherboard, but you should just be able to push it on, and you'll hear the clicks, and this will go back on top of the RAM. Yep. Don't be scared on putting the RAM on. It's probably the most forceful component of the computer you have to put in. I mean, you really gotta press it in there. Those latches, just make sure they line up with the ones that are empty. You know, that's usually a good indicator, but you'll feel it. I mean, I'm putting a lot of pressure on it, so here we go. Yeah, so that was solid. That went in good. So that should be good. All right, so first things first. Man, what a freaking mess. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is, one, make sure, cool, that was my closet. First thing we're gonna do is make sure, you see how much room we have with the card. So this is a nice card because it's not massive. I have a 3-fan one and it's freaking huge. So we can know that where we'll put it, and again, this is gonna go into PCI Express, okay? So you can actually look on the motherboard and it'll tell you, you know, which PCI Expresses there are. We got a couple small ones. We have 2 big PCI Express lanes. This one is labeled E1, and then E2, E3, E4, E5, and E6. So those are all the PCI Express slots that we got. I'm gonna take a wild guess that E1 is gonna be the fastest one, which is typically the case. So this one, which is this, I guess the closest one, the silver one right here, that's gonna be our ×16 PCI Express slot, and then right here is our ×4. So just a little bit slower. We want to definitely put it in the ×16. Fastest channel, the fastest speed, right? You have to take this back piece off. There we go. Take this one off. Okay, and then it looks like it slides just off like that, so it just lifts. And then I'll hold a picture. And then we know it's this slot right here, so it should be right here. We'll see how many of these lanes we need to take out real quick. So I'll just like kind of just snug it on in there, put it on top. Look at the lanes. So I should, so these 2 right here are what I need to take off. I'm gonna do that. Sometimes, yeah, so a lot of times they make you actually break these off. So you'll see I had to bend it a few times and now it's gone. So make sure it's the ones that you need to actually take off, because you break it off, it's gone. Now I have to decide what the heck I'm gonna do with this stupid piece of crap. Can have it underneath, it won't be terrible. I don't even think I have enough room to like finagle it under like that. That's just bizarre. Oh, I could do that. That looks so ugly though. I hate that. Okay, we're gonna do it underneath. Yeah, executive decision. Like that, should be fine. It's not gonna be touching anything. All right, so let's expose the connectors. And then the way it works, same sort of thing where it's got like this little clip right here. Hopefully you can see that, you can see it on this one. All right, so the clip that's right here, make sure it's pushed down. Make sure that this lines up down there. That's kind of how you know it's in the connection. And then, all right. Yeah, and put this puppy back on. Same sort of deal. Slide it on. Looks good from there. So let's see, there's one right here. It's just right here. Last but not least, we have our beautiful PCI Express. Got the 8 pins. I probably should have looked at that first, but I was right. And then we simply plug it in. Give it a little extra love. Make sure these extra 2 pins go in. And we should be ready to boot it. All right, well, here we go, a moment of truth. Got all this stuff plugged in, and then hopefully we turn it on to work. All right, it's not on. That should be the on. All right, hopefully we have ignition. Nice. Okay, that's a good start. All right, so I got HDMI, plug it in the graphics card, still nothing. Let's do a restart, see what happens. I don't even know if that was a restart. Okay, not a good start. Something's flashing. Oh, something flashed. I saw it. It is booting off the graphics card. I believe F11 is the button for this. All right. Yes, that's awesome. Okay, that's very good. Okay, so now we're gonna get Windows loaded on here. By the way, if you haven't done a Windows install in a while, there is actually a super nifty toolkit that they actually have for Windows 10, and you don't have to download the bits and mount an ISO or anything like that. You literally download this program and it just pulls the whole thing down from the internet, puts it on an 8 gig stick or whatever USB, and you're freaking golden. You just plug it in and it's already got everything bootable, ready to go. We want to go to custom install because this is brand new. It's nothing. Install Windows only. We're not upgrading from any other Windows. This is a totally fresh drive. So we have right here, here's our 500 gig. So you guys can kind of see that. Alright, and then basically it's already unallocated and stuff, so we don't need to partition it at all. Windows should do that. Go ahead to next. Alright. Now it's going to be copying those files from USB drive, chuck it on to the hard drive. It's going to partition it, all that good stuff, and then it's probably going to connect to the internet, update patches, and then we should be golden. Everything looks to be working so far. Let me give you a little tour. Alright, there's us installing it. Alright, and then here it is. Here's everything working. Running, the CPU fan is spinning away, which is good. There's no other beeps going on. RAM seems to be good. We would have gotten a blue screen by now, probably. Hard drive's obviously working. It's recognized there. Graphics card's obviously working. The fans are spinning the fans. Spanning. Everything else looks to be good. That fan is running. That's our newly installed front fan. Let's check. Okay, yep. Airflow is coming this way. Alright, so that means this fan over here should be sucking it out. And it is. And there's a fan up here. That should be blowing it out. And it is. So, looks to be working well. So I'm pleasantly surprised. No parts seem to be dead yet. The case looks awesome. Got the light caught on me. Alright, here's the color. So apparently there's supposed to be some LED lights. We'll see how this looks. This might... Whoa! So we got purple. Oh, we got this blue. Got like this looks yellow. And it's like white. Oh shoot, dang. Oh man. That's sick. Those colors are pretty cool. Alright, what else we got? And then off. Ooh, and then I think this just slowly changes colors. That's probably my favorite. There's a lot of cool things. That's awesome. We're back up. Windows finished installing. I had to go through a few steps just to kind of you know, set up your account and get everything going. But this is first load screen of Windows installing, so it looks like we have it on. So it's gonna load up. What is that, Edge? And we are looking good. Alright, so here's our CPU. Looks to be working good. We got our memory here, got our 16 gigabytes. Alright. Wi-Fi looks like to be working. Got our GPU. Says it right there, 1070. 8 gigs of RAM on it, 0 utilization, nothing's being run on it. Looks awesome. I'm so happy. I'm so like pleased with it. Can't tell you how many times I do installations and you know do builds, and for the first time the RAM's dead, the motherboard's dead, getting blue screens, all sorts of stuff. So I'll probably run a couple more updates, get things like Google Chrome and Firefox. And really from there, just kind of fine-tune the software and just doing double checks. We can do some benchmarks. All right, so I let Fortnite do auto detect, and everything came up as epic settings. I decided it's not registering the 75 FPS that I have, so I'm just doing unlimited and having VSync on, and hopefully VSync is supposed to stop it at the refresh rate of the monitor, which is 75, so we'll see if that works. It's hard to see it. Right there is the FPS, so you can take a look at that. It should stay at 75, 74. It looks great though. Alright, let's run around for a sec. Oh, I'm in a team. My bad, guys. You're not gonna like me. So far so good, still sticking around 75 really well. It's running really smooth. It's awesome. See how well I can do with this setup. I didn't get any freaking... Give me a shoddy, yo. Shoddy. What happened there? Is that a trap? Whee! It's kind of funny. There's the ring of fire. Can we go through it? Whoa! Whee! Get with it. Alright, there you go.